Sorry, guys, I didn't know that I was live. I know it happens. I was telling everybody that I literally had like what do you call it? A Monday head, where you have that head where you're still like spaced out from the weekend. Welcome to Praying Together as One Ministries. I hope that you guys are all doing great today. Welcome to Praying Together as One Ministries. Tonight we have such a beautiful class put together. It took a lot of energy out of me to put this class together just because we have so many things that we want to talk about, but I do apologize for not knowing that I was live. Oh boy, that can happen sometimes when your mind is just like not all there yet and you're dealing with so much. But I'm so happy to see you guys. This is Sister Chela with all of you guys tonight. Like I said, we have such a beautiful class prepared for you guys. We have so much to talk about with everything that has been going on. There is so many things that the system is trying to do to continually oppress our people. There is so many things that the system is trying to put out there to continually get rid of those of us that have an awakened mind, those of us that are called to be light workers within this system, and those of us that have our minds awakened and are awakening the rest of our people out there. So one of the things that they are making sure that they continually do is not just poison our foods, but they want to poison the very air that we breathe, so that when we're out there, it literally feels like we're breathing, acid, almost like in the book of Eli. I tell people all the time, when they give you these movies, they are showing you exactly what their game plan is for our people within this matrix. When they give us these movies, they are basically showing you, like, look, this is what we are going to do to you guys. They have to literally, legally put it out there. And so that's why they do it through movies, right? And so if you look back at the book of Eli, you will see that it shows you that as Eli is in his journey, trying to get from one place to another, he is literally trying to make sure that he doesn't breathe the air. And a lot of people don't really understand that the reason he's doing that is because the air was so toxic. There was so much chemical in the atmosphere. Everything had shifted so greatly, almost like, that apocalyptic type scenario, that he had no choice but to make sure that he did not inhale the air out there. And so, like I just said, we are in a time period where we are enduring basically the same ordeal, just not like in the movie, but almost like in the movie, right? We have everything that's happening with the train derailment. We have explosions, we have factories blowing up, we have tanks and boilers blowing up, we have situations that are, it seems like they are not pre-planned, but I'm here to tell you they are pre-planned. They are pre-planned, they are premeditated, and we are living within a system of murderers. We are living within a system of people in power that are going to get away with these murders and with these things because they have a license to kill, basically. Okay, a license to kill. And when this happens, we don't understand it at a deep level, but if we open up our eyes, which is tonight's title, is the broken paradigm within this matrix. You see, when the glass shatters, or when the wall falls, or when the veil falls off our eyes, we are able to see everything that is happening within this broken paradigm of this matrix. We see that they are losing their power. We see that the masses are waking up. We see that their lies are being discovered. And we are able to see for ourselves that it was all a patterned preparation for the masses to stay in control, for them to stay in control of the masses, I mean. So, welcome to Praying Together as One Ministries. This is your beautiful sister Chela. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to share, follow, and subscribe on YouTube. As One Ministries, I'm sorry. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok. We have so much to talk about tonight in tonight's class. In respects of what everybody is experiencing right now. Everybody is experiencing the paradigm shift within this matrix. Everybody is feeling the change. Everybody is leaving the systematic status quo beliefs and the pattern of behaviors that we were taught within this system, and everybody is leaving and eventually waking up and starting their own starting their own discovery and starting their own journey. And people are starting to realize what is really going on, right? People are starting to say, oh, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense. This must be a lie. Everybody's starting to go, wait a second, everybody's going that way. I should probably go that way. And so when things like this happen, it is just a matter of time, because they know they don't have it, okay? They know that they are running very short on time. They know that people are breaking away from religious dogmas. They know that people are waking up from the systematic indoctrination, from the crap and the lies that they were taught in schools. And so, everybody is waking up at a different level, at a different pace, seeing things differently. Everybody has a different perspective on things. But the truth of the matter is the spell to keep people asleep is no longer working. So today's title, again, I repeat, is The Broken Paradigm Within the Matrix. I put a lot of time and effort into putting this class and pieces together for all of you. Subtitle, The Awakened Masses. The reason why I believe Spirit really wanted me to talk about these things was because a lot of people are experiencing the awakening. A lot of people are understanding that something has shifted. People's minds are at a different spiritual level. People's perspective on reality is something completely different to what it was years ago. Years ago, people could have sat there and said, oh yeah, the system is all for me. I voted for Hillary or for Biden or blah, blah, blah. And that's fine, okay? It's okay to be all into the politics thing, but believing without researching and believing without doing your own, without questioning anything, is one of the key signs that you have not awakened, that you have not become independent and cut the cord from this matrix reality, right? It is a sign that you are still very plugged into the matrix, that you are still very heavily indoctrinated, that you're still believing everything that you're being told, and that you're still like the sheeple, just following the crowd, right? You're not following your own intuition. You're not being guided by the divine spirit. You're not being guided by mother wisdom. And so when things like this happen, it is the job of other light workers. It is the duty and job of other ones who have already seen the light, who have already downloaded the precious information, those who have tapped into to the divine, those who have nourished the magic within themselves, to be able to allow others to receive a little bit of that magic, a little bit of that light, a little bit of that power, and to be able to share the wisdom with the world. And this is something that they ultimately don't want for anybody. They don't want you being a truth speaker. They don't want you speaking the truth. They don't want you waking up the masses that are sleeping. They don't want you sharing resources and videos and leaked information. Because the minute that you do, you become a target of society. You become the enemy of the state. You get imprisoned, you get killed, you get poisoned, you get knocks at your door from CIA agents and the federal department and investigative services, and then they'll use coercion to intimidate you, and they will use agenda modification. Media modification, to put your face plastered on some fake media news outlet saying that you killed someone, or that you killed yourself, or that you took drugs, or that you're psychotic, or whatever it is that they do to destroy the reputation of anybody that they know is an impact, an influencer, a truth speaker that has valuable information, that is out here doing what they need to do. And this isn't to say that we should fear our lives, because we shouldn't. The reality is we shouldn't. But there's a way in which we have to be very careful and swift about the stuff that we do and the information that we bring along, just because, like I said, we become a target of the system, and we become a target of their wrath when you are going in the opposite direction of what the sheeple should be doing. The sheeple should be quiet. They should be following what they're being told. They shouldn't question anything. They should not come against the system. They should be falling into the MK Ultra spell casting of following the Luciferian doctrine. They should not be leaving the church, right? And so when you don't follow the status quo anymore, they know that this brings a big rebellion. It brings an uprising, and the awakened masses is what is going to bring an uprising. And this is what they fear. They fear the rebellion of a people, of a chosen light workers people, who are going to debunk and devour their dark work, their dark kingdom and their dark forces, and those that are reigning in power in this very moment. So let's get into this class. Let's go deep into this. But before I do, I'm going to sing, because you guys know how much I love it. And I honor and glorify the Most High Creator, Ultimate I Am Source. I want to thank you, everybody, for your prayers as well. I want to answer 2 quick questions that everybody's been asking. Everybody has been asking how Sarai is doing, and if Sarai is out of the mental institution. She is currently home. She is getting the help that she needs. I really appreciate everybody who has asked. I really appreciate everybody who has been supportive to our family, to our ministry. I'm so thankful to everybody who has just it's been overwhelming, the amount of support that we've gotten, but I'm super thankful for everybody. And I just want to thank you guys, because parenting, it takes a village. It is not something that you can do on your own, really. And with the support of sisters and brothers, other fathers, other mothers, and other people who have probably gone through this already, but I'm a newbie at this. These young years for teenagers today within this matrix is really something else. They get influenced to do so much crazy stuff. They get influenced to follow temptation and lies. And, excuse me. She's been raised to be a Christ believer and to follow the faith, of course, but we all know how that goes. We all know that teenagers will do what they're going to do and be where they want to be and just rebel against you. But I'm so thankful that I am the way I am, because regardless of how much crap she puts me through, and no matter how much crap a child puts you through in general, I just did a TikTok about this as well. I really believe that we have to endure in love, and we have to endure in positivity. And it's that Christ love, right? Because in the same manner did the Most High become patient with us, through our flaws, through our mistakes, through the many times that we pushed him away. Our children will too also push us away. But it's about consistency, and it's about love. It's that real unconditional love that no parent should name or time their love, right? No parent should be like, well, if you don't do this, I'm not going to love you and I'm not going to support you. I'm the kind of mom who, even my oldest goes, Mom, why are you so patient with her? And I said, well, because the Most High Creator was patient with me through my mistakes and through my blindness and through my ignorance and through all the crap that I put the Creator through. So I really believe that in that same manner, I believe that the Most High is being patient with me. I should be patient with her. Not just that, but as a healer, I believe that she's unhealed and she's broken and she's making wrong choices off of that pain, off of that trauma. And when we don't heal our trauma, these are the ultimate consequences, that we live a destructive life until we don't anymore. And we all come to a realization eventually of why we're not going to live those destructive lives anymore. But Thank you so much to everybody who's been so supportive. We really appreciate it. It's unbelievably overwhelming. Thank you for all your love, all your cards, all your emails, donations. Also, thank you so much. We really appreciate all of you guys. This ministry wouldn't be anything without you guys. So now for our class. Let me start off with a song. Yeah, let's start off with a song. In the middle of darkness, in the middle of pain, in the middle of sorrow, there's always tomorrow. I will seek your face. I will seek your light. In the middle of darkness, in the middle of pain, in the middle of sorrow, there's always tomorrow. I see the light. I feel your love. I see the light. I feel your love. When nothing left, no matter where I go, when I seek the light and I find the darkness, call out your name, all I see is a shadow. Knock deep inside. If I see the light, if I see the light, in the midst of darkness, in the midst of pain, in the midst of sorrow, there's always tomorrow. I see the light. I see the light. I feel your love. I know I'm not alone. I'm going home. I know I'm not alone. I'm going home. I know I'm going home. I see your face I see your face in darkest place. All praises. So, even when we are in the darkest place, even when we're facing our inner shadows, even when this place is broken, even when this place is dark, even in the middle of our pain, even when the world is aching in pain, we seek his face, we seek his glory. We know that we see that light, we feel his love, right? And so we know we're not alone, and we know we're going home. So we are living in believe and had ideas about has shifted enormously. The spell casting and word trickery and deceptive control tactics are no longer working on the majority of people out here. Even within the same elites to question their theories, their ideas, and patterns that they've used to enslave the masses all these generations, okay? So they know that their spellcasting and word sorcery and sigil magic within this matrix, they know that that is no longer working. They know that the masses are waking up. They know that their spellcasting sorcery is no longer working. They know that they've lost control. Okay? Since these beings have repetitive patterns and thinking, they cannot think outside of the box and outside of what's already been done. As the experimental masters of order, we are their experiments. And their time is truly running out, and they too, many are not being able to be cast into this deep sleep that they've had the masses under for the longest time, right? Now, for many who may not know, let's talk about this. In order for you to comprehend the form of what is being said in this lesson, let's break down some of the things that we'll be talking about today. First, let's decipher what is the simplest form of explaining a paradigm, right? So, what is the simplest definition of a paradigm? Paradigms: a system of beliefs, a system of ideas, values, and habits that is a way of thinking about for this real-time world, right? At the time, this way of thinking was the dominant paradigm for social scientists. A paradigm is an example, model, or pattern, especially the most basic or of a central one. Okay, now you guys know that this world is run under a systematic pattern and a systematic order, right? That is the order of the elites, that is the order of the occult, and it is the order of the draconian lineage. We understand that we are under the order of the Arkan creators, okay? What they would call the Anunnaki, or what they would call the great giants or the great masters of deception. The great masters of deception are mentioned in all kinds of books. They are mentioned in the Nag Hammadi scriptures, in the ancient scrolls, and they are mentioned in many, many, many texts. So we already know that this world is governed and ruled by the fallen ones, right? And so we have to understand that when we talk about paradigms, we're talking about different kinds of patterns and ways of beliefs and a way of this system within this earth matrix being set up. Okay? Now, the reason so many have been feeling a drift away or a breakaway is because we have just entered a new paradigm shift within this matrix, as well as a new way of viewing this altered reality we're stuck living in. Here are some examples, and these are some paradigm shift examples. Examples of paradigm shifts are the movement of scientific theory from the Ptolemaic system of the Earth at the center of the universe, then that to the Copernican system, or the sun at the center of the universe, as well as the movement from Newtonian physics to the theory of relativity and quantum physics. Now, this is to say that there is nothing new under the sun. These practices and all these terms that I'm using now, they've always been around, and the fact of the matter is that intelligence, scientific advancement, new technology has been used since the time of the Egyptians, but different patterns or systematic order has always taken place, right? So you believe that CERN did our dimension? I don't understand the question. Do I believe that the CERN created a new dimension? Yes, I do. If that's the question you're asking, I do believe that. Absolutely, 100%. Okay, so going back. So it's always been a different systematic pattern since the time of the Egyptians all the way up until now. It's the same rulers, they just, like I said, they have repetitive behaviors. So because they have repetitive behaviors, you can understand the reason why everything seems to be repetitive order within the same systematic system, right? Within the same system. So it's repetitive behavior for the same reason, even though it's a different pattern that is being carried out. And so we now understand that that's the reason why we have different paradigm shifts. So even when we talk about quantum physics and time travel, these entities have been doing time travel for the longest time. There is nothing that is new, right? We understand that these entities have traveled in and out of times, into the past as well as into the present. They have shifted natural law, scientific law, and every order of every law, and that's why everything goes wacky. That's why we have spirit energy that enters into this realm, out of this realm, into the past and into the present, because those frequency lengths, they cross, right? Those wavelengths and realms, they pass. They cross paths for the same reason, because they've always played the role of the creator, because science has always been at the hand of the deceiver. So now what we want to do is understand what is happening within this 3D realm. We are living a 3D experience in an altered reality, okay? In a reality matrix that is obviously governed by the dark arcane elites. And there's a lot that they know has been discovered, like looking up into this dome matrix sky that we have today, because that's not the real sky, right? You think remote viewing is bad to do? I mean, I think it's part of like the artificial intelligence realm that they've created within this metaverse, this altered reality. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think that it really puts you and sets you deeper into the matrix. I mean, it's your choice. I just personally think it's a bad thing because it pulls. Have you heard of Project Looking Glass? No. I mean, I have heard something similar, but I don't think I've looked into that one. But thank you for the information. I'm gonna do research now that you're mentioning it. But that goes hand in hand with the title of this class. I was gonna say glass because this lesson is talking about how their paradigm shift, like a mirrored glass, okay, within this matrix is broken, and so people are now realizing there's more to this world than what meets the eye. So Basically, we have been looking at this realm from what we were taught to view as a perspective reality with what they gave us, the tools they gave us, which was miseducation, 100% miseducation. So now we've reached the point where we are now viewing things past the broken paradigm that they gave us. They gave us their beliefs. They gave us their reality. They gave us their pattern on how to view life. But the reality is now we're viewing everything past that broken glass. Our veil is now on a different level. We now have spiritual eyes we didn't have before. We have discernment, intuition. I'm going to get into all of that in the class. Thank you for tuning in, Zuki818. All right. So now we understand that we are just experiencing this earth on a different level because we are in a 3D altered reality realm, right? So they govern this system and they have us looking up into this dome sky, realizing that they're dropping poisonous toxins in each hemispheric level upon each of its residents, right? Upon each resident, each citizen. And this is basically, all it is an assault on humanity. And this place is all energy. It's all energy. So if they harbor energy to attack us, they know that they are going to create a mass genocide like they have always done. Remember what I said about repetitive pattern. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that it's a great podcast. I really appreciate it. So basically, it's just a way of saying it's the same stuff they've always done. It's continued legal genocide, but it's a different pattern that they're using. And now they're using patterns in a atmospheric level attack, right? They are now using toxins in this dome matrix to create a mass poisoning, because if you look at everything that has happened, they haven't just dropped the bombs, and it all started after they put out these spy balloons, which I told people was dropping chemicals and poisons according to my visions. But now you have all these mass explosions with dropping toxins and chemicals that are going to leak into the atmosphere. Atmospheric level warfare, right? Chemical bio warfare. So now you have to understand that this is a direct and legal genocide. They know that your psyche has power. They know that the paradigm shift has occurred. They know that there's a mass awakening happening. So in order to keep the masses asleep, their new pattern of activity is to keep you sick, to break down your temple, because if you have brain fog, you're not going to be able to discern. You're not going to tap into your psychological and psychic powers. You're not going to be able to think. You're not going to be able to see past the paradigm shift, right, of this matrix. And so they do this on purpose. This is the reason why, because if they do that, you're going to have an ultimate effect, like the domino effect, right? And so cows will die, fish will die, trees will die, oxygen will die off. And like I said, if you look back to the movie Eli, the book of Eli, you're going to see that it became so desolate and so absolutely toxic that Eli had to walk around masked up, and he could not breathe the air out there. So I'm basically reminding you guys of the same deal, the same situation. It's just not an easy situation, right? It is very, 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 very difficult to process the fact that we are living under the rule and authority of these demonic entities and dark arcane leaders who all their mass projective agenda is mass genocide and to poison us. The same people you vote for, the same people that you trust, the same people that were giving you stimulus money. This is what that recession was all about. That's what I was talking about. And I spoke about that on my TikTok. I'm basically telling you guys right now They give and they take away. That's why the God of the Bible that you worship is the same God of this matrix. It's the God that will giveth. It's the God that will taketh. Okay. And right now they're about taking your energy, taking your life, taking your resources, and keeping you oppressed so that you can obey that same God that you pray to in the Bible. All right. Where was I? Oh yeah, so this place is all energy. Now, let us decipher paradigm. The late 15th century, as an example, a model, or from late Latin paradigma, pattern or example, especially in grammar, and from the Greek paradigm, pattern, model, precedent, example, from paradigmaniake, exhibit, to represent, literally to show, side by side, right? An example. So you have to understand that when we talk about an example earth, we're talking about they replicate exactly how they need to govern this earth realm to how they govern every other systematic order that they have within this whole matrix, right? And then we go to beside, which is decinai, which is to show, or cognate with Latin decide, or to show. From pi root dic, to show, also pronounced solemnly. In 20th century, it began to be used in a more specific philosophical sense, or logical and conceptual structure, serving as a form of thought within a given area of experience, especially in Thomas Kuhn's The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, 1962. In our last class, we spoke about the altering of your perception. The reason they want to alter how you view this world is because they want to press your power. They want to oppress your power to manifest your own reality and keep you from tapping into your own divine within yourself. Not within the structured buildings that they give you, not within the structured churches that they have taught you to go to and pray to a matrix God, but they don't want you tapping into your own natural divinity, your own power to manifest something into existence. Okay. They need to keep your minds deceived. They need to keep you tied into this web, because you are basically the battery that operates their world of power and corruption, because that's all this system is about, power and corruption. Okay. Now, a lot of people explain feeling this shift of ideas, or as we say, the paradigm shift, by simply feeling like they no longer fit the status quo, or they just don't belong in these religious institutions, or no longer see things from a different view. They see things, they relate feeling like they now view things from a different perspective as others. And they suddenly feel like all things are mental, like a sudden mental clarity, right? A lot of people will say, oh, well, now I see things mentally clear. Like my mind is like the fog is gone, right? That's the MK Ultra that they like spellcasting over all of society. They use it within Hollywood and they use it within society in general. Let me see. So, oh yeah, mentally clearing up. Others will feel a sense of spiritual high, almost like they have separated from this place, and now they see past the broken glass, which was what I was talking about, with a new insight. They feel like they've gained new eyes or a new intuition, led by a greater divine force past what churches were teaching you to believe, what we were taught to believe, right? So let's review. What are the characteristics of a paradigm shift? A paradigm shift is a major change in how people think and how people will get things done, that appends and replaces a prior paradigm, a paradigm shift that can result after the accumulation of anomalies or evidence that challenges the status quo, which is exactly what's happening with us. We basically challenge every status quo when we are no longer reformed to obeying what they want us to obey, right? We are no longer following what they want us to follow. And so it's so funny because basically that's all it is, right? Give me 1 second, please. Sorry. All right. So when we no longer follow the status quo, when we are no longer thinking the way they want us to think, when we are no longer following the things they want us to follow, it just seems like, yeah, well, that person is no longer useful to us. They're no longer under our mind control. And that's not convenient to them. So again, a paradigm shift is a major change on how people will think, how people will get things done, and it upends and replaces the prior paradigm. A paradigm shift can also result after the accumulation of anomalies, evidence challenges the status quo, or due to some revolutionary innovation or discovery. This revolutionary discovery is that of an awakened mind who is now digging into deeper levels. You are going deeper and deeper into the bunny hole. And it's like the more you discover, the more you want to discover, because you're like, okay, this can't end here. And so you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that is the way that you get your spiritual brain juices flowing, because you start to question everything. You start to do more research. You start to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is something that is not convenient to them, because they don't want people in this self-discovery and discovery of truths that is going to continue to awaken the masses, right? And so others will feel like a sudden release of chains, like your chains finally broke and like the veil was removed, and they are now stepping into their true nature and true persona and walking as themselves and doing things that truly benefit them and not for the benefit of others, like these governing powers, right? A lot of people are experiencing mental paradigm shifts, okay? This is happening because their glass has shattered and people are seeing what was being hid from many years and centuries, because they were dumbed down with lies, deception, toxic foods, fluoride, religious indoctrination, and miseducation of the mind, okay? So what is a mental paradigm shift? What is a mental paradigm shift? So accordingly, a paradigm shift is defined as an important change that happens when the usual way of thinking about or doing something is replaced and by a new or different way. That is what I call the rebirth of the spiritual mind and the rebirth of an awakening mind. So when you have a mental, bendiciones hermana, when you have a mental paradigm shift, you can go anywhere from, oh my God, I see it now, I see it, to now I really see it. Or a person who, oh, the government is so sweet, oh, everything they're doing to us too, these bastards, to suddenly being able to realize that they're poisoning you, that they tricked you, that the student loan wasn't for your benefit, that building something within this world wasn't for your own gain or for your own blessing. And so you start to see things with a different mental clarity. You start to see things with a different spiritual mindset. And so everybody that I have interviewed, and most everyone that you will encounter recently, like now, you will hear them tell you that they are experiencing a mental paradigm shift, where their mind is no longer where it used to be. Whatever they thought, they are no longer thinking it. And this, my friends, is causing chaos in churches, religious pastors, deacons, elders, because everybody's like, whoa, where's everybody going? The church is not being filled anymore. Nobody's coming to Sunday church. Nobody's coming to Shabbat class. Well, guess what? There's a mental, spiritual paradigm shift. People are no longer stupidly sitting in a church getting indoctrinated. People are now awakened to the truth, and nobody wants to sit there and hear a pastor lie to them. No longer believing the lies. We are now connected to spiritual divinity, and we are downloading the information on a whole different level. And so, like I said, this is something that is not convenient for churches, for pastors, for elders, for deacons, for camps, because experiencing this kind of paradigm shift, whether it's physical or whether it's spiritual, it is really, really to the convenience of yourself. It is something that is going to bring blessings and spiritual growth for you, but it is not something convenient for those who were your oppressors, those who were your masters, right? Okay, moving along. So a paradigm shift is just an important change that will happen when your usual way of thinking is no longer that, and you now have replaced it by a new and different way of thinking and viewing things. And like I said before, in the physical manner, it's now a way where you now act differently or you do different things, right? So many are no longer following the orders and commands of the dark ones, of the elites that command all order within media or the systematic institutes, right? This includes doctors, lawyers, officers, actors, and so much more. This is why you see so much of Hollywood media coming away from what was being taught to them, or when they signed those Hollywood contracts, what they needed to do in order to remain within Hollywood, right? This is the reason why we're seeing all of that, because they cannot accept somebody who signed a contract to be a multimillionaire and act making you believe something, because that's what an actor is, right? Making you believe the lie, for them to wake up out of the MK Ultra spell casting. This is not convenient to them. So when these artists wake up from that, they are either destroyed within the public eye of the media, or they are tortured, or their families are killed, or they're coerced to go back into the Illuminati. And when I mean coercion, I mean violent coercion. I don't just mean, oh, here's $5 million. No, I'm talking about like some serious like coercion of like violent stuff. And that's why a lot of them end up dead. A lot of them end up cloned. And you think that they're like the original artists you started following like 15 years ago. Because there's so much technology for them to be able to do and practice all this evil within this system. Same thing with officers. That's why you have officers who show up dead or end up shot or, get kicked out of the Air Force or the system. Finally, someone is speaking the truth. Thank you so much, honey. So basically it's just a way of keeping the systematic order and control over the masses. So like I was saying, this happens with this awakening or paradigm shift can happen anywhere from regular people to doctors to lawyers to judges to officers to actors within Hollywood, and then we see everything from mind shifts to physical changes and shifts as well. So let's see that one. What are the 4 paradigms? Let's see that. 4 of the paradigms are behaviorism, information processing and cognitive psychology, individual constructivism, and social constructivism and situated learning. Look at this. This applies according to the order in which we are programmed to live within this matrix with our masters in each respective institute and governing sectors, right? Each state. I spoke about this in one of my classes where each governor has an order to govern and rule accordingly as they are the elites who are to oversee each sector and each division, right? Behaviors that are learned through educational institutions from the time that you go into kindergarten all the way up into college, law schools, and doctorate schools, right? Information taught through education, work training, and media predictive programming. Then you have work ethic, work training conduct, and training classes for corporate America. And then what we are taught through social activities, social leaders that are put before us, and role models that are placed in our leadership, as well as continued training with these institutes to better make you as they need as a sheeple within corporate America. So when this shift occurs, you no longer go as the sheeple are going. And that's what they expect of you, right? You are now operating on a whole different wavelength of frequency. You are now a higher intellect than most would actually be out here. And I say this to say this. As an intellectual who is now viewing things from a different perspective, you are now the kind of person that they fear, because when you speak, you're going to speak knowledge and not knowledge that was taught to you. You're not going to speak stuff that was taught to you in Harvard Law. You're not going to speak stuff that was taught to you in Yale. You're not going to speak stuff that was taught to you in Stanford. So you're going to be taught things that come from a divine download. And this is what they fear, because they've always tried to tap into the divine through time travel, through alterations, scientific stuff like the CERN, through the deceptive agency NASA. They've always tried to tap into that divinity of the creator. They have always mimicked the creator. Remember that. Okay? They have always mimicked the portion of divinity of the creator that dwells within you. That's why you're studied, and that's why you're an avatar in this Matrix game. Okay? Give me 1 second. Let me clean my glasses, because my eyes don't do too well sometimes. Sorry, I really needed to put these glasses on, because that way I can see a little bit better. All right, so now when we view all of these things from a spiritual perspective, as one good example to why, for example, I don't belong to any more churches anymore, and I will not be part of a sect or a cult or a church, is for this reason also. We have been taught to love and worship an image of a God creator or source. But what idol is this? Okay? What idol is it? What is God as an image? Well, it's just that. An image. You were taught to worship a God within a box. And so when your paradigm shifts completely, you realize, well, what the hell am I doing talking to a God on a box, on an image, on a frame, in a wall? What am I doing talking to an image and a statue or something that doesn't talk back to me, right? And so that's the God that you were given. That's the creator. If you view it from a spiritual perspective, that's what you were given, right? An image given by men. A paradigm shift in spiritual views occurs when you realize the source and ultimate divine energy is and always was energy. Okay? He's in everything and all around, but because of a patterned belief, remember, The systematic patterns that they've always had since the time of Egypt. This is the pattern of belief that we are still experiencing, but in a different wavelength, right? So, where was I? Sorry. So like I was saying, he's in everything and he's all around. But because of a pattern belief, we were taught by our paled ancestors and colonizers that he was in a building or that he was in a structure. And they also created racial tension, creating more division. And we were also taught that he was either black or that he was either white. The Most High Creator, God, is energy. Okay? When in reality, those were just orders of religious politicians in power to deceive. He is energy, therefore we are an extension from him, so we too are spiritual energy, charged and being existent in this reality earth realm, passing through, but we do not belong here. But because we are taught to act on animalistic, low vibrational frequencies and behaviors, we are born through a physical vessel and then reprogrammed through carnal memory. And so then what that triggers is that we forget who we are. We forget our divinity. We are brought into this paradigm shift of this 3D world. We come from another place, but we are taught to forget that as we are reprogrammed. And then they take our memory and put us into a deep sleep that disconnects you completely from the divine, if that makes any sense. And that's why none of us know where we came from, who we are, what is our true power, what is our true nature. And that is why when we start to awaken, it's such an overwhelming feeling, because we know we don't belong here. We know that what we're seeing is not truth. We know that what we're hearing is not the truth. And so, it's like I tell people, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that they've been practicing. Does anybody know how he really looks? No, exactly. Because he's not a physical being. He is a mass energy. He is an energy that you cannot see, you can only feel. Let's move it along. And so it becomes a cosmic journey to awaken and rediscover and get back the light and the power and the knowledge back from those who stole it. And those who stole it are the ones who reprogrammed the souls when they were born through their physical aeon, through a physical body, right? Into this artificial matrix. Sadly, it's more than meets the eye. I've always told you guys that this is a war on your psyche, and they know who you are, and this is why they study you continually through this artificial intelligence world, okay? They need a war. They need to create these wars. They need famine. They need chaos. They need destruction. And they need all of this in order to gain and continual power. So they gave you a religious book. They rewrote the words in it to alter Christ's message, to deceive you and the whole world, to hold in your minds the power to make you believe that the true God is the killer of humanity, sacrifices, child pornography, older men marrying little girls, false prophecies, when they themselves are the ones who wrote it with their lying scribe pens, and they are the ones who are pre-planning all these events, as well as everything that we see is happening all over the news media. They are the ones funding these wars. They are the ones funding these fake altered realities. They are the ones that are creating an image of you hating someone overseas when that's not what those people over there are seeing with that president. They tell you something on social media and deceive you to lie so that you can hate the Tate brothers, so that you can hate McAfee, so that you can hate the creator of Macintosh, so that you can believe Bill Gates, so that you can hate the Ukrainian Putin president. And so what I'm saying is that's what the last lesson was, to alter your perception of reality. And this is what this lesson is about, where you're feeling the paradigm shift. You are coming out of the bullshit, of the lies, of the indoctrination, of the deep sleep, right? You are now able to see past the veil of deception that they keep on you. You are now able to see past the bullshit that they want to feed you, because you are no longer falling for it, right? There is nothing new under the sun. That's why all these shifts are necessary, because they take you to the next level that you need to get to, so that you may see things past the broken glass, past the paradigm shift that has broken in this matrix, to see what has always been hidden, and to see things that you could not see when you were asleep. Because those of us who are his and are his chosen light workers, we will return to that one head, because we are limbs that all belong to that one body, which is Christ consciousness and the body of the true creator and source. We will close this lesson tonight with this from the Nag Hammadi scriptures, reading pages 660 and verse 17. My beautiful family, thank you so much for joining in tonight. I know that I kept this short and simple, but I no longer have a babysitter, so I actually have to run and do mom duties, as well as keeping these YouTube lives alive. And thank you so much for all your follows and your likes and your shares. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I thank you so much for being here with me tonight. We're going to finally close out by reading the Nag Hammadi scriptures. And I wanted to read this to conclude tonight's class, because the reality is we are all limbs with different gifts, different talents, different callings, but we all ultimately belong to the one creator. And so I wanted to read this so you guys can understand it from a different perspective to what the biblical book of deception doesn't really tell you, right? So we are the limbs of a single body. 4, an eye or a foot or a hand, because they exist as a single body, which coexists. I'm sorry, I can't see. My eyes are so blurry. Which consists of us all serving the one single head, which is the source, the creator, right? Each of the limbs depends on it. The limbs cannot all become a foot or an eye or a hand. These limbs will not live by themselves, but would die. We know that they would kill themselves. Why then do you still prefer the dead limbs instead of the ones that are alive? How can you have knowledge if you are ignorant of the brothers? For being ignorant, hating them, and being jealous of them, you will not receive the grace that is in them, because you do not wish to be joined with them for the gift of the head. Rather, you should give thanks on behalf of the limbs and pray that you may not be given the grace that has been given to them. For the word is rich and generous, and it is good, and grants gifts in this world for its own people, without jealousy, in accordance with. They appear in such way that each of the limbs possess his own gift, and they appear without fighting one another over differences of different gifts, but as suffering and working together. If one of them is sick, they are sick with him. And if one is healthy, they are healthy with him. Now, if such people as those who break the harmony in the performance of music so that it becomes dissonant must be trained to take part in music, how much more incumbent is it on those who belong to absolute unity to be joined with one another? Do not accuse your head for not having made you into an eye, but rather a finger. Do not be jealous of the one who has been given part of an eye or a hand or a foot. Be thankful instead that you are outside of the body, but have the same head as that for which of the eye exists, as well as the hand and the foot and the other parts. Why do you hate the one who has been made a just as the head wanted? Why do you slander your brother instead of embracing him? Undefiled body, superior, dissolve of the aeon and the descent. So basically what this is saying is we are all supposed to work harmoniously. And this is why the awakening is so important, and is so important that the paradigm shift occurs mentally within all of the limbs of the one creator, which is the one head. Because if our minds are awakened, we come back to that harmonious state and we are brought back into unity, right? These religious leaders and these dark archons and everything that is predictive programming within this paradigm shift out here in this 3D realm is to keep our people divided. The eye over there, the leg over there, the limb over here, the heart over here, the lung over here. It's all about division. You see, as long as the body of Christ is divided, which is all his vessels, we all have different gifts. Somebody's a healer, somebody's a seer, somebody is a person can sing through their singing, through their voice. Another one has healing energy in their hands. Another person is good with herbs. Another person is good with plant healing. Everybody has different gifts at all different levels. But because we were all born to this physical aeon, we all awaken at a different time. There's no need to hate on another person. There's no need to envy what another person may have. There's no need to envy if that person is the eyes or a seer, if that person is a hearer, if that person is a healer. There's no need. That's why that scripture and text was talking about the harmonious unity of all of us, every limb working together. Every limb is each and every one of you. We are experiencing the paradigm shift in which we are going to experience a mass awakening. It's happening. It's because we are all returning to the source and divine creator because we are his. Thank you for tuning in. This was your beautiful sister Chela. Sending so much love to all of you guys. I will see you guys on Friday, or if I have time during the week, we can have TikTok, which Coffee Hour with Sister Chela. I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great night.